Hello, Dr. James Bogash, expert in health and longevity, and as a practicing chiropractor and not a big fan of the GLP-1 injections like Wegovy, semaglutide, tirzepatide, Mounjaro, all of that class. This particular article just really seems to fit, but it's going to take a long time before we really realize what the broad range of what these drugs do. At its base, they were known to improve insulin sensitivity, increase slow gastric emptying was one of their main tools, increase beta cell mass and insulin production. We've now seen that there's receptors in the eyes, and said it again, the muscle loss. I just had a new patient come in this week that was given one of them by her endocrinologist and she's about a year and a half younger than me with no instructions about how critical maintaining muscle mass or diet are. Like, in a perfect world, yes, but these are endocrinologists who should know better, and that's what I see in my practice, is that they're getting shit instructions about how to use these drugs so that you're not devastated by the time you start going off of them, which ultimately people have to go off of them. This isn't something you can take for the rest of your life, and that's because we just don't know everything that it does yet. And so people are like, it's been out for a while, but it's been out for a while in diabetics, and in diabetics, they don't do miraculous things. As a matter of fact, the A1C improvements are really pretty minor over the course of years, and I think that's counterbalanced by the loss of muscle mass. So there is always a price to be paid. So this was a study looking at, it was a multi-million person database, and they peeled people who were on GLP-1 meds, not on GLP-1 meds, and they were in 4 categories: either obese with diabetes, obese without diabetes, they were not obese with diabetes, so a lean, metabolically obese, or lean but metabolically obese, or they just had a random sampling of patients. All of them did not have a history of lumbar disc problems, so that included lumbar disc disease, so disc bulges, pathology associated with the disc. They were clear of that at baseline based on MRI. So they followed them for 5 years, and they found that the people that were on GLP-1 medications all had an increased risk of lumbar disc disease, ended up having a lumbar disc fusion or segment fusion, not a disc fusion, and having had injections. So whether it's a direct effect or it's just purely effective loss of muscle mass, which is then going to have an impact on spinal health, it's just going to go back to the fact that you cannot be on these drugs and not be hitting the gym probably before you start, let alone during, and hey, I'll just lose the weight and then I'll start exercising. Because when you stop taking them and the weight comes back on, it's not the muscle mass you lost, it's all the fat mass. So if you like your spine and you want to protect it, might want to reevaluate this class of drugs. Still, again, a very large database followed for 5 years, so it's one of these things that we can probably accept that this is yet another side effect that we're going to see from this class of drugs. As always, I'll post a link to this particular study in the description. Make sure you like this video, share it with somebody you think needs the information, and subscribe to the channel.